another video. If you're new here, hi, my name's Bree. Stay for a while. Obviously you can tell that we're going to be doing Pinterest chooses my reads for a week. Now I've seen a bunch of creators do these. I've seen Sarah Crowley do them, I've seen Ellen Catherine do one, so I thought I would jump on the bandwagon and do it myself because I've been really struggling to figure out what I want to read, and a bunch of you said that you want me to do more weekly challenges, so that's what I'm doing this week. We're going to be letting Pinterest choose my reads for a week. So if you didn't know how this works, I'm gonna hop onto the Pinterest app and just scroll on my feed, on the recommended feed. Whatever book comes up first, that's what we're gonna be reading. I think I'm gonna choose about 3, maybe 4 books. No, I think I'll choose 3. We'll choose 3 books. I'll choose them all now so we have our TBR for the video and then we can just get straight into the video. But I'm hoping this doesn't take too long, but I need to screen record. Obviously you can see, first of all, we've got like the TBR cart. Now I've seen like some videos they only choose like the singular book photos, but I think that'll be quite hard. I'm gonna look at like the stacks and like the multiple book photos as well, and I'll just see like if there's any books in there that I own that are in that photos. So there's actually nothing in that I own that I haven't already read. Okay, so we're just gonna keep on scrolling. I honestly love my Pinterest so much. Oh, okay, so what have we got here? So we got Pumpkin Spice Cafe, I don't own those. You Again, don't own that. Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver, so I do own that, but I'm filming that for another video, so we can't use that. Finale, I've read that. Okay, and then we've got Poppy War. I do own that. Okay, so this is Poppy War, and obviously it's different from, this is like the UK cover. I think the orange one is like the US cover. But this is Poppy War. I've been wanting to read this for so long, but quite a long book and I'm quite scared to read it because I feel like it's going to be really like in depth and it's going to require a lot of brain power. But that was really easy. We've got our first book for the TBR, so I guess we just need to find our second and third one now. We've got another sort of stack, but here I can't really make out. No, there's nothing there. Just gotta keep on scrolling. Code Wings and Ruin, I've read. Okay, we've got this big stack of books here. Own most of those. I don't own any of them. Why isn't there any books coming up with that? Oh, wait, okay, I can see a book on this bookshelf if I zoom in so you can see. So that's Forging Silver into Stars. No, I own that. That's the Bridget Chimera book. I have by here. This is like the blue sprayed edge version. I feel like we've got 2 really big books. Oh my god. I'm really scared. Okay, this is also like over 500 pages. Yeah, so we've got 2 books here, over 500 pages. I hope we get a nice small read for the next one because, oh my god, this isn't going very well. Okay, just keep on scrolling. What have we got here? I've read Divine Rivals and Finale. Pumpkin Spice, I haven't read, but I don't own it. Okay, so we've got this big bookshelf here. I'm just gonna go from like the top and work my way across, I think, and see. So I'm just gonna go across like this, the bookshelf. I can't even like work out what some of these are. Okay, so there's nothing there. What book is this? Do we know? No. What I'm gonna do is, because we've got 2 fantasies here, I'm gonna type in romance book aesthetic. Oh, I've already searched it up. Okay, so romance book aesthetic, and we're just gonna go, because we've got 2 fantasies, so we need some sort of romance. I need a palette cleanser in between these. So the first picture, was that the first? Yeah, so the first picture we've got Better Than Movies, Summer Broken Rules, Wildfire. I've read those. Book Lovers Beach Read, Emily Henry. Okay, these Ella Mays books, I do own these Ella Mays books. We got Charlie, Love and Cliches, I don't own that. And then Marriage for One. Okay, I do own that. So I own Marriage for One, The Hardest Fall, and To Love Jason Thorne. So which one should I read? Should I read the blue one, Marriage for One, because that was like the first one on the stack? Or should I go from the bottom? To Love Jason Thorne. I think I'm gonna go with To Love Jason Thorne because it looks like the shortest one, and I've already got 2 big books here, so I think I'm gonna go with To Love Jason Thorne. Okay, so this is our stack for the week, which I am really happy with. We got the Poppy War, which is meant to be some sort of school training thing. Okay, I love this when there's this badass girl, female main character, she gets into like this school or training academy and something like that, and she discovers that she possesses a lethal and earthly power, which I absolutely love. I love shit like that. sad when they discover their power and they're like learning how to hone their powers and they just turn into even more of a badass. Sign me up. I'm very excited for this. And then we've got Forging Silver into Stars. This is a YA. Now, I absolutely loved Bridget Chimera's Defy the Night trilogy. It's one of my favourite series ever, like especially YA. I have no idea what this is about. Okay, so it's something to do with like magic's been banished from the kingdom for years. Times are changing and magic has returned. Oh, okay. This sounds very different to something I've read before. It sounds like similar to stuff, but also different in certain ways, if that makes any sense. And then obviously we've got To Love, Jason Thorne. This has been on and off my TBR for so long because I think this is A Friend to Lovers. I think. No. Her childhood crush becomes a movie star. Now he's set to play the leading role in a story she wrote about him. Oh, okay. Jason Thorne is a name everyone recognises, a famous actor with a big house, nice car and a bad boy reputation to match. Olive knows him as her brother's childhood friend and the boy who broke her heart. Ooh. So Olive, a female character, has written a novel and Jason Thorne is her childhood crush. He's now a famous movie star and he is going to be playing the role of her novel basically in a new film adaptation. Love that, love this. Okay, so let's just get to reading because we've got a lot to get through. We have got a lot to get through. So it's a few days later now and I am a good chunk into Poppy War. I'm like over halfway. I did discover that it's on Kindle Limited, so I've been reading it on my Kindle. So if you want to read this and you don't own the physical copy, then it's on Kindle Limited for you. But I haven't actually filmed anything while I have been reading this because I've been reading it like when I've been in work and stuff. And I read a good chunk of it last night and a good chunk of it this morning. I was really struggling, first of all, like really struggling. But I was struggling so much because this is like very heavy on the war and politics and things. Like it's based off the things called like the Second Sino-Japanese War. That's what this is based off. So it's very heavy on the politics and the war and the lore of like the Chinese history and things like that. So I was really struggling to get into it first of all. So I decided to look up to see if it was on Spotify, like audiobook, and it was. So I've been listening to the audiobook as I read along, which I find helps immensely because at the start of this I had no idea what the hell was going on. None whatsoever. I literally had not a clue. But I feel like the first, I think it's split up into 2 parts. I think there's just 2 parts. So the first, I've only just started the second part of the book. The first half of the book is like where it follows Rin, which is the female main character, and at the start we see that she's a orphanage from the war, from the previous war, and she's been like adopted by this family in a small village. She's very poor. The family that she's with are like opium dealers, so she's like grown up as this orphanage girl with these drug dealers. She's been abused and neglected and all these things, and she's like determined to leave this little village, and she takes this test to get into like this prestigious like military school. And despite all of like the racism and the bullying and everything like that, she gets into the school. And when she's at the school, I'm not going to go like too deep into like the school and stuff and what happens when she's at school. When she's at the school, she discovers that she has this some sort of magic. It's called like shamanic magic or something like that. It's like this magic where she can like speak to the gods, and there's a lot of lore and history and things that go into the power of the gods and stuff, which I'm not going to attempt to even explain to you guys. But I'm now on the second part where like a new war is brewing. She hadn't like actually graduated from the school, but all of like the students at the school have been sent off into like military bases and stuff, and she's been sent to this military base, but it's not actually an actual military base. It's called the Psych, and that's where the people with these sort of like powers go, but they're kind of like where all the outcasts go. So it's a lot that goes into this book is a lot to do with real life things. There's a lot of racism, genocide, bullying, the list goes on, the amount of things that happened in this book, but it's real life things, unfortunately. And I do think you should read the trigger warnings before you go into this, because there are a lot of dark topics that get spoken about in this, but unfortunately they are things that do happen in the real world. And I think R.F. Kuang has done such an amazing way of like writing about these things and like putting it into words in a book and taking inspiration from something that's happened in the past, and it's probably like still happening in the world that we live in now, unfortunately, and just made an amazing book. It's very difficult to get into if you're not like a big fantasy reader. Like the war terms and things like that are really hard for me to understand, but I think that's just me and my dyslexic and ADHD brain not being able to understand it. I think listening to the audiobook while reading along has definitely helped me, and I feel like now I'm like sort of like in the depths of the story now, like with the war and everything like that, and I'm really intrigued to see what is going to happen because it spans over 3 books and I feel like we've already learned and like discovered so much in this. But it's currently Wednesday today. Obviously this is like a weekly challenge vlog, so it's Wednesday today and I started this on Saturday. I think I started on Saturday, so I've taken a lot of time reading this, but we've got like probably about 200 pages left, so I'm going to try and finish this today, then we can finally move on to our next one. I think the next book I'm going to read is To Love Jason Thorne, because this has been so heavy to go into another fantasy book would like throw me, so I need like a little palate cleanser after reading this, because apparently the ending is so like heartbreaking. So I'm kind of scared because I'm kind of obsessed. Like at first I was really struggling, but then I found myself like when I wasn't reading it thinking about Rin and thinking about like what was going to happen next and how this was going to end. I feel like at now it's like sitting at like a 4.5 star. Like it's so good. I haven't read anything by Arif Kwong, but I know she's the author of Yellowface, and I know that that is like a really popular book. I haven't read Yellowface, but this is like really well written, and it's like honestly amazing the way that she's been able to like put everything into words and stuff. Don't think we're gonna get 3 books done this week. I think we'll get the 2 done, definitely, because this has taken up a bulk of my time. We'll definitely get the 2 books done, and I might be able to maybe start the Forging Silver into Stars. I think if we'd had a big book and then 2 smaller books, that would have been manageable, but having like 2 500 plus page books is kind of impossible, plus then a 400 page book is kind of impossible to read in 1 week when you also work full time. I think we'll definitely finish the Poppy War today, and then hopefully tomorrow I can actually love Jason Thorne in 1 sitting. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, and then we can get like at least halfway done of Forging of Silver and Stars before the end of this week. Fingers crossed, maybe. So it's a few days later. I say a few days, it's like 2 days later I think since I last updated you, because I think I last updated you when I was going in for my night shift, my first one. I had 2 of them and I was reading Poppy War. I have since then finished Poppy War and I've started another book last night on my night shift, but I finished this and like there isn't actually no words for me to describe this book, so I rated it a 4.5 star. Honestly, it's like such an amazing book, like for a first installment into a trilogy. I know that this trilogy is going to be absolutely amazing, heartbreaking, heart-wrenching, it's going to kill me, but this is such an amazing book. Like it's such a good take on fantasy. I haven't read anything like this before. I usually read romantasy. I've never read just like a fantasy book before, especially when something has been inspired by something real in the past before, and this was so good. It was honestly such an amazing read, and I think like one of the main things that like drew me in was like the really intricate plot and characters. That's like the main thing that drew me in. But I will say, please read the trigger warnings, okay? Whenever I tell you to read trigger warnings, please read trigger warnings, because there's a lot of triggering things in this. I don't think there's a trigger warning at the front. No, there's no trigger warnings on the front, but please search up online the trigger warnings before you read this, because there's a lot of very sensitive things spoken about in this. It's based on a war, so there's a lot of rape, genocide, really descriptive things go into this book, and please read the struggle on it. I've seen a lot of people like review this and say that they don't agree with how descriptive these certain scenes should be, but I personally think that they are necessary because, as I've already said, this has been inspired from a war that has actually happened years and years ago. I think those descriptions are really good because it makes us realise that these things actually happen in real life. These things are still going on today. Like, look at the war with Ukraine and Russia, the things going on in Palestine. These things still go on today, and this like just really opened my eyes into like just like how horrific the world really is. And it's really sad, like the things that go on in this book makes you like, once you realise that these things actually go on in real life, like in the world that we live in now. And it's just like heart-wrenching. Honestly, it's heart-wrenching, but this is just insane that these things happening in this book do still go on in the world that we live in now. So it's split up into 3 parts. So the first part is Rin. First part is her when she goes to the like academy, the school. The second part is her once she's chosen like the thing that she wants to go into, and she chooses law, and like you have the starts of like the war brewing and stuff. And then you have the third part, which is the war. That's where the most horrific stuff happens, is in the third part, part 3. I think at the start it was really slow. No, I think the start I really enjoyed because she was like at the academy, she was discovering all this like new stuff basically. Part 2 lulled a bit for me, so for that I rated it like a 4.5, but it was still an amazing book. Like, it was so good. You have to read it. After I finished that very heavy book, I needed something light and fluffy, so I started to love Jason Thorne. I'm only 83 pages in of this. I started it last night on my night shift, and I'm really enjoying it. Ish, kind of cringy. There's some stuff in here that's like a bit cringy to look past, but it's okay. It's like a different premise to anything I've ever read before. She's okay. It's just him. What's his name? Jason, obviously. Jason Thorne. He's really cringy, and like the stuff that he says is just like so out of pocket, and I'm just like, I just don't understand. And it's, I don't know, he's just giving me the ick a bit. Like, he's literally just giving me the ick, and I don't know if I can see past it. I don't know, there's just a few things that are just like icking me out a bit, and I'm just like, oh, I don't know if I can look past it. But yeah, I'm gonna read for a bit tonight, see if I can get a few more chapters in. I'll see how I feel, but I think it might have to be a DNF because I don't think I can suffer through another 300 pages of him being this insufferable and this icky and this cringy. Because we've also got to start this, and I do really want to start this, Forging Silver and Stars, because this is a chunky one, and we've only got 2 more days left of this challenge. I don't want to be wasting my time reading something like this when I can actually be enjoying a book like this. So I guess we'll just read it a little bit more and see how it goes on. I think I'm going to read another 50 pages. That's what we'll say. I'll read another 50 pages. I'll be over 100 pages in then. You know, I would have given it a good go. I'm not just DNFing before I get 100 pages in. So that's what I'm going to do. We'll read the next 50 pages and then I'll see if it'll be a DNF or not. Guys, I'm DNFing. I can't do it. I don't think I can do it. I'm on chapter 15. Literally just got chapter 15. And I'm 154 pages in. And I can't do it. I really can't. I'm just not enjoying it. I'm forcing myself to read it. Yeah, I physically can't do this anymore. Because I just read a bit and he was literally like, I love you like a sister. I'm sorry. Because for starters, this book starts where he basically lives in her house when they were growing up. He had a really bad, like his mum was like a drunk. He was never at this house. He always stayed at Olive's house, basically, because he was best friends with Olive's brother. So he was always there. And then he was just like, I loved you like a sister. I'm sorry, sir. This is the girl that you're like meant to be pining after. And you're saying I love you like a sister? No. No. I was really excited. The premise of the book sounded really good, but it was written really badly. And I've got 2 more Ella May's books. And I'm hoping they're not the same as well, because I was really excited to get like into Ella May's books. If they're all like that, no thank you. No thank you. But I guess we'll just have to move on to Fortune Silver and Stars. I think I'm going to enjoy this. It's like multiple POVs. Oh no, I think there's just 3 POVs. I'm actually going to go into this blind because I have no idea what it's about. Literally not a single clue. I think I might love it because I really did enjoy Defy the Night by Bridget Camira. I love that trilogy. So if this is the same, then I think I'm gonna love this as well. I think it's got like the same premise of like there's a kingdom in peril, there's a war, not a war, there's a rebellion starting up, there's like ancient magic. I think it's got the same premise of Fight the Night, a little bit different maybe, but if it's got the same premise and like but it's executed a bit differently, I think I'll really enjoy this. But I don't know whether it's a standalone or if it's part of a series. If I can get 200 pages done tonight, I'll be happy with that. 200 pages. I don't know how big this is. It's 539. So if I can get 200 pages done tonight, I'll be really happy with that. Let's just get to reading this, I guess. Is Callan or Kaelin the boy or girl? Is a girl. Move girl. Yeah, it's a girl. What are you doing? Come sit down. Can you come and read a book with me? You stand on my book, that's fine. No, you can't have a hot chocolate, it's hot. Sissy, you're gonna burn yourself. I think it follows one girl and 2 boys with 2 guys. Oh my god, Cece, you are on one tonight, didn't you? Okay, so what I've gathered so far is the king from Emberfall married the queen from Silshallow to unite and to stop the war between their 2 countries-ish, so to say. But then we now have the king who possesses magic, and magic years ago was banned, but he now has magic. And we have a rebel group called the Truthbringers, which is starting to rebel again. That's sort of the backstory that I've gathered so far. I'm gonna download this on my Kindle because I just hate reading physical books, and this is so heavy. My baby, like my pinky, trying to hold this end of the book up is like kind of hurting me, so I'm gonna read on my Kindle. I'm not on chapter 4 though. It's taking me like an hour to read 32 pages. Let's download it on my Kindle. So, it's a little while later, and I'm like over halfway, yeah, I'm over halfway. I'm on page 287, chapter 31, and I'm really struggling with this one as well. I thought this was going to be so good, but nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. And if this is a standalone, then this is a really bad standalone because nothing is happening. Like, I honestly don't know why this is over 500 pages. There's so much in here that I'm just like, why is this in here? This is irrelevant. I don't even know what the plot is. Like, I actually don't know what's gonna happen. That's all I know from the last update I gave you was that there's 2 kingdoms, which is Emberfall and Silshallow, and the king of Emberfall possesses magic. So, but years ago there was a war or some sort of conflict. The king of Emberfall and the queen of Silshallow married to create peace between the kingdoms. Then there was like a rebellion a few months ago, and our female main character, Callan, her dad died in the rebellion. So we've seen that in the start, like the prologue. And then we've got Jax, which is Callan's friend. He's like the blacksmith. He's Callan's best friend. They've grown up together. And then we've also got Tycho. He is the king. He's like friends with the king. He's grown up with the king, but he's had some sort of like troubled past, which I don't really know what is about. That's all that's going on right now. Is a rebellion is forming. There's been like messages going back and forth. Callan and Jax have been like holding these messages for the higher up people in the rebellion, and it's just a lot of back and forth. That's all there is. And there's a relationship forming between Jax and Tycho, and I think there's now a relationship falling with Callan and one of the other lords, which is part of like the rebellion. So I can see that there's going to be like a divide, because obviously Tycho is friends with the king And then if Jax and Tycho form like this relationship, Jax is going to believe everything that Tycho's saying about the king, and he's going to be on one end of the rebellion, and I feel like Callan is going to be on the other end, and it's going to be like a divide in their friendship. I think that might like happen, but nothing is happening other than what I've told you. We've literally just been going back and forth, back and forth. They've spoken briefly about like the history of the kingdoms and like what happened years ago, but it's just like hinted at. They never really like delve into anything. I'm just a bit confused, kind of bored. I'm just muddling through right now. At the minute it's just sitting like a 2-star. I'm really not enjoying it, which is really sad. I feel like this has been such a bad reading vlog. I've DNF'd one book, and then I feel like this is going to be like a 2-star. I honestly don't think it's going to be anything above a 2.5. Which is so bad, I know. But I'm gonna carry on listening. I've been like listening to the audiobook because obviously I've got to get this done today because I start another reading vlog tomorrow. So I need to get this done today. So whenever I've been like doing bits and bobs around the house, I've literally had the audiobook on. And then when I'm like in bed, I'm reading along with the audiobook on like 2 times speed to try and like get through this as fast as I can, because I don't want to DNF it because I am intrigued to see if anything happens and like what the plot and the story will be. Like, it is intriguing me because it's so boring that I want to know if anything happens. Like, there's something in my brain that's like, is anything actually gonna happen? Like, I want to find out if anything actually does happen. So I'm gonna carry on reading. I'm gonna do my nails. I just took all my nails off. If one falls off, I have to like take them all off and then I just start again. So I just like soaked all my nails off, and now I'm gonna put a fresh set on. I'm just gonna listen to the audiobook while I do my nails. I think I said I've got like 7 hours left, so with that on like 2 times speed, I've got like 3.5 hours left of reading. Probably get the big bulk of it done when I'm doing my nails, because that usually takes me about 2 to 3 hours depending on the nail art that I'm doing and stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna stop complaining about this book now, and I'm gonna carry on listening to it, do my nails, and then I'll get back to you. I finished, and maybe with a bit more of a better update with the plot progression. So it's the next day, and I thought I would wrap up these books for you because I finally finished Forging Silver into Stars last night, and boy do I have some thoughts. So I thought I'd just wrap up these in the vlog, summarise everything for you. But obviously first of all we went in with the Poppy Ball, which absolutely broke my heart. As I've already mentioned, you really do need to read the trigger warnings for this. I did rate this a 4.5, I think I rated it. Yeah, 4.5 I rated this. I think I rated it highly just for not for the fact that it was an amazing book in the sense of like I enjoyed, but in the sense of it makes you realise, like it opens your eyes to so much. It's hard to explain unless you've read the book. Even though it's fiction, it does blur those lines between fiction and real life, and for that, the way that it was written was so amazing. I'm so excited to go in with the other 2 books, but I know for a fact my heart is gonna break. But you do have to read this. Like, honestly, unless you are triggered, sensitive topics, then please read the trigger warnings before you read it. But like, this book made me so angry, and the more I think about it, like the more angry I am, because even just like the stuff that's going on in the real world now with like war and everything like that, the things with Russia and Ukraine have like intensified and things like that as of recently, and it just makes me think, like, because this is about war as well, and like these things happen in real life, so I'm just like, you know, you have these big men sitting behind their desk telling people to go destroy other countries and things just because they want a bit more land, because they're greedy fuckers. But it's not them that suffer, it's us. It's the people who are living in those communities. It's us that suffer while they are still nice and cozy behind their desks, and it makes me so fucking angry when I think about it. Oh, it honestly does make me angry, because they're not the ones on the front line. They're not the ones who are suffering. They're the ones who are sitting behind the desk giving the orders, and it makes me so angry and so infuriated. Honestly, I could go on about it for so long, but I think everyone should read this book or read the trigger warnings first. And then I went in with Love, Jason Thorne, which we all know how that went. This was a DNF. I started reading it on my night shift, and then I had to DNF because it was so cringy. Like, I don't think I've read a cringier book than this. The female main character and the male main character was so infuriating, and the way that they were acting were just like, it had that insta-lovey effect. The guy, Jason, like they hadn't seen each other in years. I think it was like, I don't know how many years it was, but they hadn't seen each other in years. He was instantly like all over her, being like all jokey and everything with her, like straight off the bat, and the things that he was saying to her, I was like, you've literally just seen each other for the first time. Reel it back in, sir. But yeah, I really didn't like this. Obviously it was a DNF. I didn't rate it. I think I got like 100 and something pages in. I can't remember how many pages in, but I give it a good go. And it just got worse and worse and worse. I just couldn't cope with it. And then again, we went in with Fortune Silver and the Stars. So I've rated this 1.5 on my Fable. I think my mistake was, which I've recently come to discover, was I was reading other people's reviews on this, and it says that this is like another spin-off to her first trilogy, the Cursebreaker trilogy. And I didn't know that. And I haven't read that. But then I seen some people say, when I was like digging a bit deeper, they said that you don't have to read the Cursebreaker trilogy first because this is set years ahead or something. So you don't really need to read like the Cursebreaker trilogy. There's just like some characters and some plot lines from there, but it doesn't make a big difference. I'm not too sure, but I think one of the reasons why I wasn't that fully connected with this is because obviously it's a spin-off from another trilogy. Maybe if I'd read the other trilogy first, I would have connected a bit more. I didn't care for the characters. I didn't care for the plot. I didn't enjoy the characters and I didn't enjoy the plot. Like, nothing about this book wasn't enjoyable. If I hadn't listened to it on the audiobook, I probably would have DNF'd it. Like, I couldn't have sat and read 500 plus pages about this world and these characters and this plot. Not that there was a plot. There was no plot. We were literally going over the same thing the entire book. Like, this book does not need to be 500 plus pages. Easily 350, 400 pages. Literally so boring. And I think I mentioned it in my last clip, but the characters just complained about everything. They were just so sad all of the time, and it was just push, pull, give, take. It was just so back and forth over the same things, and it was just got a bit boring and repetitive. So that's why I rated it 1.5. Might be a bit harsh, but I don't think it is. Maybe I'll read the Cursebreaker trilogy, because I do want to read the Cursebreaker trilogy, because I do enjoy her writing. It's really enjoyable. The Defied Knight trilogy, 5-star series, 5-star trilogy. I absolutely loved it. So maybe I might read the Cursebreaker trilogy and see if it might bump up this, maybe. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. We won't know. But I feel like we've had an unsuccessful reading vlog. My reading this month has been terrible. I have had nothing. The only book that I've had over a 4-star, I think, is this. I think everything's been below. Oh, and I read Clyde. I've had 2 books this month be over a 4-star. Everything else has been below a 4-star, and I haven't enjoyed them that much. And this isn't even a 4-star plus because it's enjoyable. This is a 4.5 because of how well it's written and how like good she made me think and how like she stirred up my emotions. Not because it's enjoyable, if that makes any sense. I've only had one enjoyable book this entire month, which is heartbreaking. I'm gonna end this vlog here because I have another reading vlog which I'm gonna begin, which I am excited for, and I hope you had an enjoyable time. And if you did, don't forget to subscribe, thumbs up, give it a like, click the bell, do all the other fun stuff that I was asking you to do, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.